So, this is going to be my review of Star Wars Agent of the Empire. Now, Star Wars Agent of the Empire has a really interesting story behind it, given that, this was probably one of the last ongoing comics done by Dark Horse, and this was written by John Ostrander, who most of you guys would know best for Suicide Squad and several work over at Marvel and DC. He actually had a bigger hit doing a lot of Star Wars stuff, heavily involving Boba Fett and, a few stories other here and there. But yeah, he really hit it big with a lot of stuff he did with Star Wars, and this being one of them. Like I said, this is one of the last things before Dark Horse had to discontinue their Marvel stuff. And I gotta say, I'm kind of sad that this went, because this was really good. Star Wars Agent of the Empire pretty much follows the story of Jahan Cross, who is a secret agent for the Empire. He's kind of like if you put the Daniel Craig Bond in the Flash in the unit. Actually, I'm tongue-tied here. Yeah, pretty much he's Daniel Craig if he was a Star Wars character, which is funny because there's rumors that he'll be in the new Star Wars movie. But yeah, if you put Daniel Craig's Bond in the Star Wars universe, this would be it right here. And also, if you're wondering about continuity, this takes place 3 years before the events of A New Hope. So the Empire is pretty much at its zenith. The rebellion's going on, but it hasn't really, peaked yet. The Battle of Yavin hasn't really happened yet. And, yeah, Vader and the Emperor and the entire Empire pretty much have all their shit going on perfectly. Jahan Cross, on the other hand, is supposed to be in charge of Imperial business. Now, now you're probably wondering, oh, he's like an Imperial agent, and he's now going to betray the Empire because he now knows that they're really evil. Oh no, he's fully aware that the Empire does some really nasty shit. In fact, he's partaken in said nasty shit, but he's fully dedicated to the Empire. In fact, he has said multiple times that I will kill somebody. I will kill somebody who I think I might have a relationship to preserve the Empire, because more or less he is top. His top priority is defending the Empire, and because he pretty much believes that the Empire is, for lack of a better word, a necessary evil. It is literally, that's what it is. It is a necessary evil to keep everything, or we're going to descend into chaos. Now, the reason why he thinks this is because when he was 10 years old. He was just a child during the Battle of Coruscant. The final battle in the Clone War. Well, one of the final battles of the Clone Wars, where Palpatine was quote unquote captured by General Grievous, and Anakin and Obi-Wan. You've seen Revenge of the Sith. What you didn't see is that during the Battle of Coruscant, Jahan and his sister and his mother were during the attack. Part of the attack. His mother was killed, and his younger sister was kidnapped by these these underprivileged people who live in the slums of Coruscant, and they took her away. And he spent weeks as a child searching for her. Well, actually, no, hours searching for her, and killed some people when he was only 10 years old, only to find her that she'd been dead for hours. And then he pretty much believed the lie that the Jedi orchestrated the Clone Wars and everything, and he went on to serve the Empire. Now, they do talk about his father, real quick, but he hasn't really spoken to him. All we know that he was a diplomat, and unfortunately, we may never know what his father was about, because, only the 2 volumes came out before the whole, Star Wars is now owned by Disney thing. So, I think, keep in mind, there are 2 volumes, and I actually own both volumes, but I have yet to read the second one. The first volume is actually really good. I have yet to read the second one, but there were only 2 before it was discontinued, and sadly, I don't think we'll ever get Jahan in this universe, because, here's the thing, Jahan is a very interesting character. He's complex, he knows what he's doing is wrong, but he feels like, again, it is a necessary evil to keep the Empire there. In fact, he's kind of even, they kind of mention that even Darth Vader likes him. Darth Vader don't like jack shit. So, it's really cool to see that this character who... It's not like the typical story with Imperials where, oh man, we got a shit job and everybody hates us, God, I hate it. This one's like, no, I'm pretty self-aware that everybody doesn't like not a lot of people like the Empire, and I'm totally fine with this because, you know what? We need the Empire. It needs to be here or we descend into chaos. So, he's a very, He's a diehard. He's not like really zealot because he does have a conscience. He's not, but he does love the Empire more than anything else. But if he realizes that something's wrong, he will even go against the Empire to make sure like it'll descend into everything won't backfire on the Empire itself. So the story of Iron Eclipse, that's the name of the first volume, is that pretty much Jahan has discovered a plot in the corporate sector of the star systems, and he goes undercover to find out what it is, and it involves this family called the Stark family. When's the last time anything good happened to a family that had the last name Stark? Never. And this is no different. I feel like it's kind of funny. I feel like John Ostrander was was watching Game of Thrones, and he's like, I'm going to name this family after the Starks, and they're all going to get horribly dismantled. So yeah. And like I said, Jahan is totally like James Bond because he nails almost every girl you see. And there's two, but you can clearly tell that every girl wants to nail him. But yeah, it's hilarious because, yeah, again, John Ostrander clearly wanted to write James Bond in space, and we had this. And again, you can clearly correlate that because his boss is pretty much like M. He's got a guy who's pretty much like Q. Hell, he even has like almost like his ship is like the Aston Martin. Oh God. We even get Han and Chewie in here. Yeah, Han and Chewbacca are in here, and it goes by the Dark Horse continuity that he was a member of the Imperial Academy before he met Chewbacca, and he and Jahan were friends. And this is not like this isn't like Han Solo's like, yeah, I'm a rogue, but I've got some rough edges, but I'm a good guy at heart. No, this is Han when he was still an asshole. So just keep that in mind. All in all, this was a lot of fun. Absolutely loved this volume. Can't wait to read the second one because this one it has something to do with Boba Fett, which I'm really excited for. And yeah. But yeah, this volume does have a lot of cool stuff in it. It's more, and again, I probably didn't talk about it enough, but the corporate sector is kind of like they're it's literally like the corporate system in the U.S. But these guys work outside the government. They have their own set of rules. It's very hard for Jahan to get any answers because everyone's just out to make some money, and he believes that this Stark family has something to do with this strange system that could, pretty much cripple the Empire. I don't want to go further into that because I've pretty much spoiled enough in here, but yeah, if you ever manage to find just volumes of Agent of the Empire, I highly recommend it. At least the first volume. I don't know about the second volume. As of this recording, I have yet to read it. But first volume, called Iron Eclipse, I highly recommend it. So yeah, like I said, it's James Bond, and it's pretty much James Bond in space. That's really what you need. If you're a James Bond fan and a Star Wars fan, I highly recommend this. I got this at a Books A Million for about $5, and with the other volume it was about $10, $11 total. So yeah, and it's not too hard. I mean, there's only two. Sadly, that like I said, there were only 2 volumes ever created before the buyout happened. So keep that in mind. Anyway, so once again, hope you all enjoyed this. Again, if you're a Star Wars fan, if you just like spy stuff, science fiction and spy stuff, I do highly recommend this. The only complaint I had was that the story just kind of, like, towards the end, really the only, like, major complaint I have is that towards the end of the story is that it kind of goes really off the rails, especially the big plot at the end. It was like, that's the whole villain plot, right? Okay. Whatever. But yeah, anyway. Once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.